A conservative gray suit couldn't cover up her party girl ways. The judge orders Lindsay Lohan to get weekly drug tests and wear a court-appointed accessory, a scram ankle monitoring bracelet. But can her court-ordered sobriety really change her wild ways? Psychotherapist and addiction specialist Matthew Bruhin is here to tell us if this is a real chance for recovery, because you've worked with lots of folks in the entertainment industry. What's your gut feeling?
Well, first of all, I hope Lindsay finds some success. Sometimes it can be found through court-ordered things. More often than not, though, the change has to come from within. There's only so many external controls someone can put, but at some point in time, she's going to have to make her own decisions. I can tell you this: if she doesn't make some lifestyle changes and change who she chooses to hang out with and some of the things she chooses to do and finds pleasure in, I suspect there'll be some long-term problems.
Bringing this closer to home, Matt, I know that there's a lot of families here in San Diego that unfortunately are struggling with addiction themselves, or family members that are. And as the family members are sitting by and watching this, or her friends, how can they be of support in situations like this?
Well, my first thing I always tell people is never give up. That's the first thing. I think a lot of times people become very frustrated and challenged with this sort of thing, and there's always hope. I truly do believe that. The other thing I would encourage family members, friends, and colleagues is also to maintain your boundaries. When people begin to have these issues, sometimes you have to take firm line stands in the sand, so to speak, and draw your lines about what you will and will not tolerate. And I think it's important that family members get some counseling and coaching on how to do that. You can always remain loving and caring about the individual, but sometimes you have to make decisions about what you will and will not allow into your life, and that sometimes can help people that are troubled find a way and an opportunity to get some help.
We just talked about Robert Downey Jr., who is an amazing example of somebody who has been able to stay in a life of recovery. What do you think are some of the key components or differences between him being able to do that and Lindsay still in her struggle and journey?
Well, you know what's funny? I actually have had some patients that have gone up into LA and they attend some AA and meetings, and occasionally he will stop by. So he still maintains his roots, from what I understand, in the recovery community, and he made some hardcore lifestyle changes. Doesn't mean you can't go out and have fun, and a lot of the work that I do in my private practice is to work to create fun and excitement and enjoyment for people outside of partying and using drugs and alcohol. And so I'm sure Robert had to discover that at some point in time, but he made some lifestyle choices. Lindsay seems that she, from what I can tell and from what the news reports, she still is engaging in this type of behavior on some of these contacts that she has that seems to lead to trouble. And so I think that at some point in time you have to make some hard choices about where you find your enjoyment in life, and that's something I like to help people do.
As far as her background with her family, genetics can play a huge role, you say, in addiction, and look at her father.
Absolutely, and I think that can be a telltale sign when you start seeing frequent chronic relapsing. I suspect that there's a combination of a couple issues. One is her lifestyle and the industry that she's in definitely lends itself to a high glamour, very high utilizing lifestyle. We know that. It's been that way for some other time. But also I know her dad used to use, and a lot of times when you see people have these chronic frequent relapses, there's a genetic component into it, and it's very strong, and unfortunately it seems like maybe some of those things are at play. So she can get help, and there's hope for her, but it definitely is difficult when you have some of those factors that are working against you.
So she's got the monitoring device, and they're going to be watching her. What do you think she needs to do to step up the chances of a successful recovery?
I think she needs to engage in treatment. It's a huge, much research on this topic. I mean, there's a lot of things that the court can do to push people in the right direction. Treatment always works better than the punishment or the criminal justice system. So I think she needs to engage in treatment. I think she needs to find a network of friends or mentors that are willing to support her and help lead her in a different direction. So I think those are probably the two components that would aid her. She's been through rehabs. She's been around, so she knows the information, but I don't think she's really begin to live it, and that's something that she needs to do. Integrate it.
Integrate it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I like what you said about never giving up hope. I think that that can be a key component
never
too.
Give up hope.
Great.
Thank you so much
today.